Hey everybody, this is a short overview of how to use the library. I know not everybody learns the best by just looking at a piece of paper, so what I wanted to do is walk you through some of the basics of finding things through the library. Now there is a little bit of a hitch to this, and that I don't have access to all the databases, being that I'm off campus and I don't have the same type of access that you do. So we'll have to do a little bit of this through some of the pictorial resources that are available at the library, but hopefully with me talking over it, it will make a little bit more sense. So to start out with, you're on the LSU Shreveport main page. To get to the library, the easiest way for me is always go to quick links and then go to Noel Memorial Library. All right. So there's several things on this page that I want you to notice. First of all, you'll notice the LibGuides page. If you go to the LibGuides, you're going to find some of the information that I'm sharing with you today. So for instance, distance learners or dual enrolled students, this is a good place for you to look. If you want to learn more about EBSCO Discovery, which is where another thing we're going to be talking about today, you can look here. And the last one that they've specifically suggested using for our class is the position paper or persuasive speech. It's the best library resources, he said. So, and he being Will Peterson. So if you're wondering about some of these LibGuides or some of you're wanting for a little bit more help, or you don't have the library open at the time you want to do research, take a look at LibGuides. That's a good place to start. All right, other things that you should know about EBSCO Discovery is listed right here. So you'll hear me talk about that in just a minute. That's another place that's good to go. The last place I'm going to suggest looking at things is on the Find Articles and Databases. So when I'm talking about different things and where you'll find them, EBSCO Discovery and Find Articles and Databases are going to be the good first step for you. So when you click on EBSCO Discovery, you're going to see a page that asks you to log in. So log in using your user ID and your PIN, which for you as students is the same thing as your username and password PIN that you use for Moodle and MyLSUS. Apparently that's not the same thing for faculty. But once you get into EBSCO Discovery, what you're going to see is something that looks like, I had this all set up and it's not set up anymore. You're going to see something that looks a little bit like this, without the avast warning in the corner. So what you're going to do is up at the top, you're going to do a simple keyword search. So you'll type in something. In your case, you may type in the name of your organization. You may type in a problem that you're researching. I'm not sure exactly what you're going to need to type in. It depends on the content of your speech. On your left-hand side, similar to when you search with Google, you'll notice that there's going to be a lot of results. What's nice about searching through EBSCO Discovery is that you can actually limit those results down to things that you can actually use. So I would suggest clicking on the full text button to kind of alleviate some of the issues of, I have this perfect article, but I can't actually get to it. I would suggest choosing scholarly peer-reviewed journals, typically for this class, although not always necessarily, because sometimes you're going to find that a news article would be more appropriate. If you're giving a speech about why we should support the American Red Cross, you maybe will be able to find some information about things that the American Red Cross is doing in support of a natural disaster that's happened recently. And that would be a really good way to be to establish a relevant statement as to why your audience members should care about this topic right now. So that peer-reviewed journals you may or may not need to choose. The publication date is another limiter that I would definitely suggest using. Slide that bar right on up to within the last 5 years. Because if you're using information that's farther back from that, my guess is that it's probably not as relevant or accurate as information that you can find in the last 5 years. As you're looking at your source type, take a look and check off only the boxes you want. So you may choose news and academic journals and ebooks, but maybe you don't want to have to deal with trying to find actual books or magazines because you don't want to have to look at those types of sources. Those would be things you'd want to take a look at. Once you select the types that you want, for example, news and academic journals, you'll click update and that will limit down your number of sources that are available to you. You also have the option to click on show more, which will then give you more information as well. You can also limit by subjects. You can look at just book reviews, or if you're saying, I don't actually want book reviews, maybe you want nonfiction, maybe you want to limit down to more specific subject titles. So that would be another place that you can do some of your limiting. So for instance, if you're giving a speech about post-traumatic stress disorder, but you don't want to talk about PTSD related to war, you want to talk about it. For instance, I had a student once talk about PTSD as related to she was working in a store and was robbed at gunpoint and she had PTSD. So in that case, you might want to look at for PTSD, but not related to any of the wars. And that would be a way, if you limit your search through search terms, that would be a way to find that subset of articles you're looking for. So another thing that you can take a look at as you're doing your searches here is take a look at the results that you're getting. Similar to when you search with Google, you're going to have a basic title of whatever article you're looking at. And that's going to be the title of your article or book or ebook or book review, whatever it might be. You can take a look at who the article is by and then subjects, key subject terms, all right? So when you're using the subject terms, you'll notice the subject terms are a little bit different in different articles. When you find an article that's really good, take a look at the subjects that are listed, those subject terms, because you'd likely to be able to find other subject terms that you should be using, and that can expand out your search terms. It can help out when you're actually trying to figure out and find specific articles you're looking for. You can take a look at the database. You can take a look a little bit more about the article, that kind of thing. And once you click onto an article, it'll give you a short abstract, which is about a paragraph or so that goes over what the article is about. That abstract is really useful in saving you from reading a 30-page article only to find out it doesn't have the information you're looking for. But be sure that you actually do click into the article as opposed to trying to just cite it from the abstract. That's an ethics thing. If you don't actually click on the article and read it, you can't know what the authors were actually intending to say. So you're limiting your text a little bit, and you'll notice just with a couple of things that they had refined their search from above, they had gone from over 1 million results to only 5,000 results. That's more manageable. And when you do that, that makes it so you're going to be able to find better resources for yourself than if you had just continued trying to type in things like American Red Cross, blood donation, things like that. So that's EBSCO Discovery. EBSCO Discovery is going to be a good place for you to start because it's going to do a broad type of search for your articles. But there are a couple other things I wanted to show you. So there's another database that I like to suggest, and that is the LexisNexis News. So if you go to Find Articles and Databases on the Memorial Library, the Noel Memorial Library homepage, and you get down to where there's the L part, you can find LexisNexis Academic Universe. I don't have a lot of things that I can show you from here, but very similar to when you're using the EBSCO Discovery, you're going to see that there are ways that you can limit it. You can take a limit for time, you can limit for subjects, you can limit for types of publications, and you're going to see that there's going to be a lot of different resources that are going to be on there. Some of those newspapers might not be great. If it's the Uncle Bob's blog, newspaper, letter, or something like that, that might not be the most credible source to pull from. If you're looking at the Miami Herald, but you're trying to talk about a topic in Minnesota, that may not have the information you're looking for, but you'll also be able to reach things like the Star Trib, you'll be able to reach, I'm sorry, you're not in Minnesota, that doesn't make any sense. If you were looking at, the Star Tribune, that's talking about Minnesota, but maybe you're trying to talk about a problem in Louisiana, so that doesn't quite work out the same way. There might be cultural differences, there might be geographic differences. You want to find something that would be more appropriate. So take a look at LexisNexis. It works very similarly to EBSCO, and I will try to get up a video about that soon, but I don't have anything for that just yet. So do your best with that, and if you can't find a way to work through LexisNexis and find an article that works for your speech, I would suggest just using EBSCO Discovery for now, and any assignments that might be associated with it, contact me if you're having problems with that. So, like I said, you have the library-specific research guides, you got your LibGuides, you've got the article databases that you can pull from. If you're looking for a specific article, you may want to find a specific type of something related to your to your category of data. So if you're trying to talk about something with business, you may want to look at resources for business administration, something with education. There's a whole list of resources just for education. That can help to limit down some of the things you're doing. Academic Search Premier is kind of a catch-all in terms of catching lots and lots of different information for you. But you can find things that are more specific if you go to specific databases, which you can find under the Find Articles and Databases list. So hopefully this is a short enough video that it will be helpful for you and I haven't lost you yet. Let me know what I can do to help you find your research. And I would challenge you to use the library because it's going to be more information, more broad information, and more likely a higher quality of information.